cold as a razor blade.
For another episode of the Snake Pit, and of course, I'm joined by the man himself, WWE Hall of Famer, legend, master of the DDT, Jake the Snake Roberts. Jake, how you doing, my friend?
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Putting up with this miserable weather down here in Georgia, man. It's about 58 degrees, misting. It's been raining for 3 days now. So, yeah, it's pretty miserable.
Normally, this time of year in Georgia, I have to assume it's like fucking blazing hot, right?
Yes, normally it's be about 85 degrees.
Oh, horrible. Wonder what's going on down there.
Hell if I know.
Now, whenever things do get warmer, Jake, I'm curious, do you have access to like a swimming pool, or how do you stay cool in the summer?
Yeah, we got a pool.
Oh, beautiful. In ground or out of ground?
Out of ground.
I like those better. Feels like it's less maintenance. Well, I don't have that luxury. I'm just out there mowing my lawn and make my wife spray me with the fucking hose when I'm done. I'm all overheated. I'm sure she gets a kick out of it.
I'm glad to hose you down.
Not the first time I've heard that, if you can believe it. Folks, we're off to a hot start already. Today's our 32nd edition of Ask Jake Anything. As always, guys, you delivered. We appreciate all the questions. I'll try to get to as many as I can, but as always, I do roll them over episode to episode. So if I missed yours, hang in there, pal. Just come to the next episode, and we might do it there. All right, let's get into this. The first one is Red Hull, I guess is how you say it. In mid-1986, you appeared on the Tuesday Night Titans program to show Mean Gene some of your snakes. It was awesome, and you knew a bunch about the snakes. What did you think of Tuesday Night Titans and their late night show feel?
It was a poor attempt at trying to be a talk show. Some memorable things did happen on that show.
Wait, I didn't see a ton of it, Jake. Can you fill us in?
Oh, my gosh. Well, I had all those snakes there. And when it came time to leave, we were one snake short.
Oh, no.
So one had gotten out and gotten loose, and Lord knows where it went. And it was a poisonous snake, too. So,
oh, holy shit.
Yeah.
Did you guys track it down?
No, we didn't find it.
So that snake was just on the loose there.
Yep.
I'm curious, because it was clearly like in a studio. Where was the studio located?
I can't remember. I think it was in Baltimore.
Wow. Okay. Also, it's, such a different thing than you had been used to. Obviously, you've done like small studio shows and big shows and whatnot up to this point, but now it's a talk show and you've got like a live audience that's kind of interactive during the whole thing. Like, what'd you make of that whole situation?
That part was okay. I mean, they were in for some treats, man. Nikolai and the Iron Sheik were on there, and Nikolai brought out a Russian bear.
What?
A real fucking bear. And the bear just got up and sat down in the chair like he was a human being. And they gave him a Coca-Cola, a frozen Coke. And that bear turned that thing up, and that tongue shot in there and pulled that ice out. Having a good old time. But about halfway through the segment, fucking bear gets a hard on. and Iron Sheik says, Nikolai, I can't believe it. Bear just like you.
You leave it to Sheik.
Oh, yeah. And then the bear turns around, puts his back to the audience, and just shits this magnificent pile of shit.
This bear's a fucking menace.
Oh, my God. It was great, though. Good television.
Now, as we're talking about it here, I do remember like the snake things with you, and like you had a bunch of snakes in like an aquarium. I also remember, and this is cracking me up as I remember it, you were sitting on the couch next to Lord Alfred Hayes, and Gene was like the main interviewer, and you kept fucking with Gene during the whole thing, making dick jokes with the snake.
Yeah.
Do you remember doing this?
Oh yeah.
Dude, it was like one of them was something like, Gene, the more you stroke it, the bigger it gets.
Yeah.
And Gene's like, really? Can I hold it? You're like, absolutely. Uh, just fantastic. I got to go back and watch some Tuesday Night Titan stuff. This sealed it. Ken Stoner is up next. He asks, any good stories about Billy Graham? How well did you get to know him?
I wasn't around Superstar that much. Magnificent guy, a sweetheart, but he was pretty much done whenever I got there.
Mm. I want to say it was 86 or 87. They brought him back and he was doing like some color commentary stuff, but certainly not in the ring anymore, right?
No.
And you got to know him a little bit after your career, isn't that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, we went out and did some things in churches.
Mm.
Did a play and did quite well doing that. I mean, had great turnouts.
Were you guys like touring the country doing a play?
We went 2 or 3 cities. We went to Phoenix. We went to LA. That was about it.
Jake, if the opportunity came up, would you ever be interested in doing like a traveling stage play?
Oh yeah.
Something to think about for any folks out there who are into that kind of thing. It'd be really cool to see you in that role. I mean, you recently did that voiceover for like a podcast, a storytelling thing, and it was so fucking good. I don't know. I feel like somebody could use the snake on Broadway.
Hey, I'm ready, bro.
All right, Eddie I'm not even gonna try it with the last name. He asked a question that he also asked for a recent episode of Ask Ted Anything. So we'll get your take on it. What did you think of your Hasbro action figure? For me, it was your best ever. Jake, I decided to grab a picture of your Hasbro to refresh your memory. That would be your first ever articulated action figure. What'd you think of this one?
It was awesome, man. When they started coming out with all that stuff, it was just crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty wild that they were. I mean, because it was kind of cutting edge at the time. Before you had, hang on, this, which was your LJN figure. You had a total of 2 action figures during your first run in the WWF, and this one got criticized a little bit. Jake, in looking at it, can you think of why it might have been criticized by fans?
I don't know.
How do you put somebody in the DDT with those arms?
Not happening.
So like a lot of wrestling fans were like, it's a cool looking figure, but what the fuck? Can we have like one arm down?
Yeah.
Um yeah, Jake, you're coming from being a territory guide and now you're on, like the biggest program in the world, and now you're starting to see your action figures and toys and in these stores. What was it like, to have your first 2 action figures come out during this first run?
Oh man, it blew your mind. Really, your mind couldn't deal with it. It was just you'd see kids at the wrestling matches, and they'd have the toys and stuff and holding them up, and it was just really wild, man, seeing that.
Did you happen to keep any of these figures in like storage, or do you still possess them?
Yeah, I got quite a few.
I'll tell you what, those LJN figures go for a pretty penny nowadays.
Yeah.
Jaredjar is up next, and Jaredjar asks, with them filling in as hosts on the show. Oh yeah, so Demolition recently came on as for the Snake Pit, and they were fantastic. It was actually today's episode that came out. He asks, with them filling in as hosts on the show, what did you think about Demolition as a tag team? A lot of people say they were Road Warrior ripoffs, but I love their work. What did you think, Jake?
I thought they were a good tag team. You know, uh, Bill Eadie's just magnificent, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's a real special guy, and Barry's nothing to laugh at either.
He was like a powerlifting champion or something.
Yeah, yeah, sure was from Minnesota.
Now, Bill Eadie, he had previously been the masked superstar through the territories and even in the WWF, I think, for a while. Now, all of a sudden, unmasked, he's wearing face paint as Demolition Axe. I don't know. What did you like better for, masked superstar or Demolition Axe?
Wow, that's a tough one there. I'm gonna go with Mass Superstar.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a pretty good run as a singles guy, you know,
Yes.
and he was just different, very special.
I've actually heard a lot of the boys say that they were kind of marks for him at the time, just because it was like he was such a big deal in like the late 70s and 80s as a mass superstar. And now it's like, oh man, cool, Bill Eadie's on the card with me.
Yeah, that's the way I felt. I was a mark for him.
Was he the mass superstar with you when you were in Georgia as well?
Yeah,
I want to say that he would have been. Did you ever get to step into the ring like as against him? I know that he was your tag team partner at Survivor Series.
yeah. I wrestled him once.
What do you think?
Oh, great.
He was one of those guys, like no flash, but he had like all the fundamentals down perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, while we're talking about these guys, they don't come up very often. Barry Darso is a replacement for Randy Colley in Demolition, and he was the perfect guy for the spot. But before you leave the WWF, he became the Repo Man. And Jake, I've got to know your take on that character.
Stop it. I'm begging you, please. Oh my God. They had him do some ridiculous shit, man.
He's like coming out with the hook and shit, like he's gonna hook your car.
Yeah.
Oh man, just such a departure. He was Demolition Smash, and he was like this big badass, and now he's like coming out like the Hamburglar. I don't know, brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, guys, spring is in the air, the weather is warming up, and I am most looking forward to this time of year because, well, I've got a lot of wrestling booked here coming up in the spring and the summer, and I also love going out, and I love kayaking, I love going for hikes, I love just going through walks in the woods, and I'm really excited because while I'm doing those activities, they're all sweaty, hot activities, I'm not going to be smelling and terrible, and I owe all of that to Mando whole body deodorant. It is unlike any other deodorant I've ever tried. It can handle absolutely anything I throw at it. Anytime there's a new product, I think that there's some skepticism, at least there is from me. Most of the time if I hear that, oh, this new thing is so great, I'm like, yeah, okay, it's marketing. Not in this case, guys. When it comes to Mando, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. 12 hours after I get out of the shower, I'm still smelling fresh and amazing, no matter how hard I'm working out or whatever I'm doing, taking a long walk, jogging, kayaking, doesn't matter. Mando deodorant can handle the worst smells. The really cool part about Mando is that it's safe to use anywhere on your body. We're talking about pits, balls, thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, feet, anywhere on your body. If it's on your body, Mando can go there. It was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. Let me say that again. Control odor for up to 72 hours. Can you imagine getting to smell fresh or at least not smelling terrible for 72 straight hours? Mando has got you covered. I mean, if you're going camping this summer, Mando's like a life hack. Sometimes you get stuck out there in the woods and you don't have anywhere to go and shower. Well, that doesn't mean that you have to smell bad. Mando's got you covered this summer, folks. All their products are baking soda free and paraben free, and they've got a wide variety of really fresh scents. You guys know how I feel. I've been talking about for a while. The bourbon leather is unbelievable. If you haven't tried this yet or given it a smell, to me, the bourbon leather is worth the price of admission all by itself. But they've also got Clover Woods, they've got Mount Fuji or Pro Sport. I've used that bourbon leather in the shower and I'll come out, it'll be 6-8 hours later, I'll sit down beside my wife on the couch and she'll be like, man, you smell good. And I'm like, I know, right? It's the Mando. I'm not the only one getting hooked up by Mando, though. I'm trying to hook you guys up right now. Mando's starter pack is the perfect way for you to be introduced to this as a new customer. It comes with solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and free shipping. So, as a special offer to our listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% of the starter pack just gone, erased. And all you've got to do is use our code SNAKE at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com, shopmando.com. Support our show by using that code SNAKE and let them know that we sent you. Guys, it's time. Summer's almost here. You know you're going to be getting all sweaty this year. Fight it. Beat it. You can do it with Mando. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. Tony Ferraro has got another tag team question. Tony asks, what did Jake make of the Rockers when they first came to the WWF?
Well, they were full of piss and vinegar.
That's for damn sure.
You know, they were flashy, fast. They were getting over.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, we know what happened. So
what did happen? Rumor has it that the two of them got fired on their first day.
Yep.
Can you remember what happened there?
Partying.
I'll tell you what, you had to have been partying pretty hard to get fired on your first fucking day in the biggest organization in the world.
Yeah, it was impressive.
I know that those two like kind of had a love-hate relationship too, and they would they get into fist fights apparently.
I don't know about that. I never seen them fight. Maybe they did.
I've heard that they would like both show up and have like, you know, they get drunk and fuck each other up in like the hotel room, and they'd both show up with like black eyes the next day at TV.
Yeah.
Lunatics.
Yeah.
I think this is how you say the name, Westgate Gyra. I don't know. I'm just taking a guess. Steve Lombardi spent a lot of time with the WWF. Does Jake have any memories of the guy?
Yeah.
All right. What can you tell us about Steve?
Steve was all right, man. You know, he was a curtain jerker.
Mm-hmm.
But he knew his job. He did his job well. You know, I know he would have liked to have done a lot more, but
Yep.
in that spot, and that spot was where he was going to stay.
Not a bad spot, to be honest. I mean, he was with the company for what, like 20 some years?
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, Westgate follows it up with, why do you think Steve was able to hang around the WWF for so long? So for fans who don't know, he was the Brooklyn Brawler, and he would come out even in the 90s and do jobs for people.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think he became like a road agent or something. So what is it about Steve that helped him stick around?
He had good friendships.
Mm.
Yeah, he was a very good friend of Pat Patterson.
Well, that's a guy to get in good with, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah.
New Wave asks, what did you think of the UK Rampage tours that the WWF did? Do you remember going on these, Jake?
Yeah, I sure do, man.
All right, what'd you think?
They were good. Nothing wrong with those tours. We went over and we'd do it and survive. You know, they were good, man.
How are you guys getting around from town? Because it would be something like maybe an 8-show tour or something like that. How are you guys getting around?
Buses.
So a bunch of wrestlers who like to, you know, enjoy some extracurriculars outside of the ring occasionally, packing onto a bus. I have to imagine there were hijinks along the way.
Yeah, there was a few. Yeah, there was a few.
Can you remember anything?
I can remember one was Sunny. She back in those days they had cooks for us that traveled with us.
Mm-hmm.
And they would set up a deal and you'd have a meal before the show. And then after the show, they would, while the show was going on, they would cook up food if you ordered something.
Yeah.
You know? So after the show, you just go by and grab your box. Well, Sonny had ordered pasta with chicken. And somebody got a hold of it
Oh boy.
and dropped a turd in there and covered it up with the pasta.
Oh no.
And evidently she went back to her room and was chowing down. And about halfway through, she found the turd.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's a stiff rib, dude.
Yeah, that was pretty stiff.
Now, when you hear about that, I mean, a lot of people dislike Sunny. If we're being honest, she had a lot of heat behind the scenes. I don't know. I don't know if she was mouthy or if it was because she was sleeping around or why she had so much heat. But a lot of people disliked her. When Jake the Snake hears about that, what's your reaction?
I laughed my ass off.
Hard not to with a rib like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't imagine she found it funny. And rumor has it it would. Do you know who did it? I think I might know.
Rumor has it was Sean.
Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Okay, see, I had heard it was a different Sean Waltman.
Well, it might have been.
One of those Seans probably did the deed. Yikes.
Pretty
Did you
shitty.
that's one way to put it. Did you have an issue with Sunny? Did you dislike her?
I didn't like or dislike her. I kept away from her.
I'll tell you what, seems like in hindsight, that was the very smart thing to do. Keep the fuck
Yeah.
away from her.
Yeah.
I am curious when it comes to these UK Rampage tours. I know you'd later move to the UK, Jake. Did being over there for these tours kind of inspire you? Like, boy, it'd be nice to live here someday.
No, it didn't.
What did make you decide on the UK?
I just needed a break.
Hmm.
I had left major companies. I wasn't wrestling much. And I just needed to change the scenery.
Okay.
You know, the cocaine was pretty hard and heavy at the time. And I was trying to run from it, which you can find it over there too. Yeah. But I
But
tried.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
But I tried.
Making the effort. And like in theory, it's like I guess, if you move to a whole new country, at least they're speaking English and you don't have any cocaine connects yet. You'd have to go seeking them out, right?
Right.
So good in theory. Olean Jules asks, did you ever think about promoting wrestling? Why or why not?
I thought about it. I ran a few shows, had good success, but not something I'd want to do full time.
Stepping in on the other side of it after years of working for promoters and kind of having to negotiate that whole like, promoters are fucking liars type mentality. Now all of a sudden you flip it around, you're a promoter. What was it like being on the other side and why didn't you develop a taste for it?
I just didn't like dealing with the boys.
Mm.
The boys were hard to deal with. Uh, yeah,
Is it the usual bitches about cash and creative or what?
everything.
Pretty much
Everything's
anything.
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody had something to bitch about.
I'm curious about your take on this, Jake, because it's something that I'm trying to navigate now as an independent wrestler, and it's something that I hear a lot of guys talk about trying to navigate, and that's striking a balance between being a pain in the ass to the office and the squeaky wheel gets the oil. What can you tell us about the right approach as a wrestler?
Well, Squeaky Wheel gets the grease.
Mhm.
It's not the way I did it, and it didn't pay off for me.
Being the squeaky wheel didn't?
No, being the guy that wasn't a problem.
Ah, okay.
Never going to the office and bitching and moaning. But it seems those guys are the ones that got the breaks.
And so over your long career, you can't really remember an instance where you got some creative and you did the old "that doesn't work for me, brother"?
No.
Wow. Especially with you because, let's say 1990-ish, you're top of the world, one of the biggest baby faces in the world. You probably had some leverage if you wanted it.
I just didn't push it.
Good for you, man. I think it'd be hard for a lot of guys to not abuse that position.
Yeah. Well, I didn't.
Couple more and we'll wrap this one up. LJ wants to know, I know that you traveled all over the world. I'm wondering where your favorite place was that you traveled and if you ever had much time to go sightseeing.
Not really. Didn't have a whole lot of time to go sightseeing. Later on, whenever we took these independent tours over there, I did some sightseeing then in Austria and Germany. But no, we didn't have much time when working with WWF. You didn't have time for that shit.
Was it difficult? I mean, as far as like, you're this kid from Texas and now all of a sudden you find yourself all the way across the world and it sounds like it's airport, hotel, arena, back to the hotel, back to the airport, right?
But then,
Was that tough? Did you ever want to say like, hey, I want to hang out, I want to stay, or was it just never an option?
no, it wasn't an option.
Gotta be frustrating because it's like, again, you're this kid from small town-ish Texas and now you're across the world.
Yeah, there was opportunities to see a lot of shit, but you didn't get to do it.
Katie Rames, a female listener, Jake. Holy smokes, we got one. She asks, were you ever around Wendy Richter? What did you think of her?
Wasn't around Wendy.
No, never.
No, I've only met her a couple of times.
Did you ever hear about the whole screw job thing with her and Moolah?
No,
Okay, so this was what they call the original screw job, and Katie actually makes that her second question. She says, "What do you think of the screw job with Moolah, and was it justified?" So, Jake, what apparently happened was, I think they were in Madison Square Garden. Wendy Richter was the champion, and she shows up at the building, and Moolah's there. And right away, red flag goes off because she's like, Moolah doesn't show up to buildings where she's not booked. What's going on here?
right.
Goes out to the ring against I think it was Spider Lady or something like that, a woman in a mask, and she knew it was Moolah under the mask. Moolah gets into the ring with her and force pins her to the ring. The ref does a fast count because he's been smartened up by Vince, and now she's not the champion anymore. And rumor has it that happened because Vince tried to give Wendy a contract to sign because Wendy was red hot. Her and Hogan were like kind of number one and number two in the company. And she didn't like the contract because it wasn't paying her what she felt she deserved, wouldn't sign it. So Vince decided to fuck her out of the belt and kick her out the door. So Jake, with all that context, you hear that story. What do you think? Justified on Vince's part?
No, no. But that was Vince's way.
Mm.
Yeah.
If I can ask you to put on the promoter cap as a guy who's been in this business for a really long time, and you bump into a situation like that with a talent like Wendy, who is so red hot at the time, how do you handle it? Do you offer her the kind of money that she wanted, which is probably something like close to Hogan money, or just get the fuck out?
She's got to go, man.
You can't be paying all the boys that much money, or you're gonna go out of fucking business.
Yeah.
All right, last one. And let's see. Here we go. Killer Keller asks, "What did you think of it when your buddy Jim Duggan, got busted with the Sheik? Were you in contact with him while he was gone?"
Yeah, I was in contact with him while he was gone, trying to keep him sane.
Yeah.
Uh, he, he chopped down all of his trees in his house. He did all sorts of crazy shit. He had to get some frustration out. Yeah, it was a bad time for Jim, man. I hated it for him because he was doing Sheik a favor by giving the guy a fucking ride because the guy had missed his ride. And Jim stepped up and gave him a ride.
Now, the big controversy for a lot of people who aren't aware is, of course, they got pulled over and they had coke in the car. It was Sheik's, but here's Jim Duggan riding with Sheik, who he had just wrestled earlier that night. So they're breaking kayfabe. B, there's coke in the car, and I think that Jim had a couple drinks or something, so he popped a little bit on the breathalyzer. It was something to that effect.
Yeah, I popped
Um,
some beer.
yeah. Which, by the way, he had just come from Louisiana, which you're allowed to drive around with a beer and a little bit of beer on
Yeah,
your breath there. So
yeah.
what the fuck was going on? But when all this goes down, were you thinking the Jim blew it? He's done with the WWF, or did you have a feeling Vince would bring him back?
I had a feeling Vince would bring him back.
Yeah,
Uh, I certainly went to bat for Jim 2 or 3 times.
did you?
Oh yeah, yeah. Pleaded with Vince to give him another shot. Um, yeah, pleaded with Vince.
Now I'm curious. I know that you were good about protecting kayfabe a lot of the time. If your rival during that period, I can't, I don't even remember who it would have been. Maybe Honky Tonk Man. Let's say that your rival during that period asked you for a ride to the next town. Would you have done the old like, "I'm sorry, dude, I can't," or what?
No, I'd have probably did it. I'd probably give him a ride.
Hard to turn down one of the guys, isn't it?
Yeah, sure it is, man. I don't want to leave anybody on the side of the road.
Right. Well, Jake, this was a really fun episode. We got a bunch more questions, so we'll save them for next time. But man, always fun to pick your brain on Ask Jake Anything, and always good to hear from the fans, right?
Yeah, I enjoy hearing what they're thinking about.
Well, we'll find out what you're thinking about next week, my friend.
All right, take care.
Okay, guys, that is going to do it for this week. Just want to give you a reminder that if you're looking to attract that 25 to 54-year-old male demographic to your product or service, you've got to get over to advertisewithsnake.com. Jake, still a household name, still out there doing meet and greets, meeting fans, talking to people, going to different cities, and you can get him to put over your stuff to the exact audience that you're targeting. If you need some evidence that it works, just listen to the show. We are routinely advertising for the same businesses because they know that what we do here on the Snake Pit works. Head over to advertisewithsnake.com and make Jake the Snake Roberts your tag team partner. Get over to cameo.com/Jake Snake for a personal message from the Hall of Famer himself. Here's a recent 5-star review from Eddie. Jake does a mean roast. Thank you. It was awesome. Guys, if you're lifelong fans of Jake the Snake Roberts, you've got to at least get over there and get a look at these reviews on Cameo. It's cameo.com/Jake Snake. It's the perfect gift. It's the perfect thing to treat yourself with. Go and order yours right now. Check us out on YouTube. It's youtube.com/@SnakePitPod. We got short clips from the show, some highlights, some exclusive content. Do yourself a favor. Do us a favor. It's a really great way to support our show. Get over there, like, subscribe, hit that notifications bell. It'll hook us up big time. And speaking of hooking us up big time, if you've enjoyed the podcast, please do us a favor and like, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review on your podcast app. That's a big one for Jake and I because that attracts new advertisers. Catch Jake on X at Jake Snake DDT, on Instagram at Jake the Snake DDT, and on Facebook at Real Jake the Snake. You can follow me at Marcus P. D'Angelo on X. And if you have any future questions for the show, go ahead and drop them right there, pal. Right in my DMs. I love hearing from you guys, whether it's good or bad, whether you've just got a question or you just want to say hi. Hit me up in those DMs. Again, it's Marcus P. D'Angelo on X.